Hello and welcome to the Stories of Northern Life by the Sault Ste. Marie Museum. The city of Sault Ste. Marie had 15 theaters between 1901 and 1923. There was a theater every few steps along our downtown core at one point in time, and we're going to talk about a few of these city gems. The first theater in town was the Grand Opera House, constructed in 1903 by Albert Search at the corner of Bay and Brock Street. It ceased operating in 1923 and the building itself demolished in 1972. An interesting theater I'd like to talk about is the Orpheum Theater. On the evening of April 15th, 1912, the Sault's new Orpheum Theater had its grand opening, which happens to be the same day the Titanic sank. It was located at 613 Queen Street East. By that time, there were 4 other theaters offering entertainment. There was the Bijou and the Lyceum, both on Brock Street, the Gaiety at 551 Queen Street, and the Opera House at Bay and Brock. Also, in that first year, their sponsored hockey team won 16 games in a row. Those who attended the Orpheum Theater were treated to entertainment that included vaudeville program of song, dance, comedy, magic, acrobat, silent films, and an act that featured 4 bears, 3 dogs, and the only trained anteater in the world. It even had its own orchestra that accompanied silent films and other entertainment. By the 1930s, the wider distribution of talking pictures signaled the end of vaudeville era. Theater owners realized that film rental fees were much less than the cost of lighting, booking, and staging of live entertainment. For years, the Orpheum was closed and boarded up. In 1935, the Orpheum Theater reopened. It was completely renovated, modernized, and opened as a beautiful, shiny new jewel on Queen Street. It was the 3rd movie house in the Sault then. The upgrades included velvet chairs that seated 590 people and other elegant touches like vanities in the women's restroom. The Orpheum Theater operated until 1979. It was forced to close when the roof collapsed. The movie The Champ was playing. Large chunks fell from the ceiling, and the film kept playing while everyone rushed out of the building. It was raining hard that evening, too, and I think that's great pathetic fallacy for the timeline of events. It unfortunately was demolished shortly after when the owners felt that the repairs to the damaged ceiling were too costly. Next on the list of theaters to talk about today is Princess Theater, located at 163 Gore Street. It opened in 1918 and featured a 40-seat movie house that only played high-class silent films. When originally built, it cost between $12,000 and $15,000 and was only 115 feet long and 36 feet wide. Due to public demand and the advent of talking pictures, the theater went through major renovations in 1939. The new Princess Theater had increased capacity to 500 moviegoers and featured a new projector and a very superior talking device. The theater entertained audiences for decades, but it was the extra things that made this place special. Being greeted by 4 ushers out front to guide you to your seats. They had live bingo before the shows, called Stage-O, and for a period of time they would give out bags of popcorn to kids on Halloween. After closing as a movie theater, the Princess Theater reopened again in 1997 and became a venue for live music as well as a bar and a dance hall. Performers like Weird Al Yankovic in 1995 on the All Can Tour performed here. Now vacant, the sign was removed for safekeeping in 2015. But the public has not received any answers as to where the sign is and what the plans are for the historic site as well as the sign. Unfortunately, none of the old-style movie theaters or drive-ins remain in operation in the Sault. though the facade of the old Algoma Theatre is all that remains of that structure, now serving as the front entrance to Smokey's Barbecue Pit and Patio at 654 Queen Street East. Algoma Theatre entertained Sault Ste. Marie from 1922 to 1987. It kept audiences entertained for decades as it went through many renovations and upgrades over the years as well. We actually have the original seats from the Algoma Theatre here at the museum. One set of seats is on display in our Skylight Gallery, and the other is safely stored in our basement. In 1987, the theater closed and was occupied by Bunkers Paintball, except for its facade was demolished in 2006. There were just too many theaters that had a presence in Sault Ste. Marie once upon a time. I hope you enjoyed learning about 3 theaters that entertained this community for many decades in a wide variety of ways. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you next week.